Oh, good morning. The coffee's done.
Oh, okay. My meeting doesn't start till 8:30,
That's what I thought.
so I need to take a shower.
Well, it's 8:30 our time, right? Because it's 7:30 on the West Coast.
7 o'clock.
Right.
Yeah,
And he starts at 7:30 there.
right,
Right.
right.
Okay. Okay. Can I talk to you for a couple minutes? Come on out, get your coffee.
Okay. Yeah. No, I'm gonna take a shower.
I have been invited to go to Disney.
When's that?
February. Do you want to go? Yeah. Okay. Okay. You can't be grumpy. What?
One of the dwarfs was cooking.
All right. I'm working with Megan because she is a hooker for Disneyland. She books everything. So it'll be about,
How long was it?
well, we're only gonna stay 3 or 4 nights.
What?
2 day park pass. 2-day park pass. So you fly in on Monday, park Tuesday, Wednesday. You can come home Thursday, or stay one more night, and come home Friday. So, you're there.
So the park tickets. Oh, okay.
It's not cheap.
And then, maybe a small Rotary Club of Lake Stevens.
That is super cool.
There you go. There, now you can talk. Now you can.
Hi, Larry.
Are those still closed? Larry's in Arizona, he's not gonna pick it up. Kristen, James.
I got any one of these guys.
I don't know about the others, but I can't hear anything.
That is correct. They have their mute symbol on the computer there, so we won't be able to hear them.
Okay.
Yeah, until they get their mute back on or off, I mean.
Okay, thanks, Jack.
Hey guys, the Rotary Club page is on mute. We can't hear anything.
Wishes. We should make that an auction item. He paid big. Okay, Jack, can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
We can hear you now. Yep.
Yes. Happy birthday on the 16th. We didn't realize we were muted and we were all singing an amazing song to you.
Well, that's all good. You can keep muting. I'll be good for that. So
Now we can't hear you.
The big question was, Jack, did you get the ceiling fixed? Is that all done?
the birthday can be muted.
We can't
It's
hear you,
okay.
Jack, but you can pan up.
Oh, oh, you can't hear me? That's weird.
Hang on, we've got our tech support here.
It's because Dawn left.
Look at Mr.
So
Mexico.
Dawn gives up tech support, doesn't even show up anymore.
Yeah.
Look, he looks pretty casual.
He's supporting from afar.
If you have a margarita beyond the screen, I'm gonna cry.
Not quite yet. Still,
Whoa
still in
there.
the coffee mode, but
It all looks good.
it probably will
Are we
be for a
plugged
while.
in?
Like,
Hey, Don, we can't hear our Zoomers. Can you come fix it? We can't hear you.
Yeah, I could be there probably in about 2 days.
He says, I cannot do it. I'm in Mexico.
Well, how do you hear me?
Speaker out there.
Can
We hear you, just
You get the old speaker.
So
Don,
this is
can
a
you hear me?
perfect Dub,
Yeah.
lip dub situation.
I'm hearing fine. And if you're hearing me, then I'm a Zoomer, so.
Okay, we're putting the speaker, we're hooking the speaker to the laptop to see if we can get sound with our Zoomers. Chris is saving the day. Okay, somebody, Don, say something, please.
Hello.
We can hear you. Good morning, we're fine. Thank you. Yay, good. Yes, so welcome Dory, our visitor guest today. Thank you very much for joining us. We appreciate you. And welcome all the Zoomers.
Good
And
morning.
thank you, Chris, for saving the day. Good morning.
More.
Yes, Chris,
Square, we're Chris Square.
it's too early for math. It's too early for math. The animals are running the farm. Okay, so announcements. Yes.
Did you
unplug the camera to plug in the speaker?
Did you unplug the camera to plug in the speaker, IT guy?
I didn't.
No, we didn't.
Hey, we're looking for a new IT guy.
Okay.
This is the hardest
This-
job. Welcome to Rotary.
Yeah, no kidding.
Okay.
Okay.
Here we are.
Everything's good now.
Let's hear it for Chris. Yay! Awesome job. Awesome job. Okay, announcements. So next Friday, this is a big deal, you guys. This is like amazing. This is like the queen is coming. Our district governor is coming next Friday. So shower, wear good clothes. We got to clean up the room, be on our best behavior, all the things. For the board, after her presentation, after the meeting, then we'll have a short meeting with her. And that's next Friday. This coming Monday is game night, Rotary game night at Meatheads, 5:30. Come, first beer is free. It's going to be super fun. We have a host that's going to be putting it on for us.
What night?
Monday night at Meatheads upstairs,
What time?
5:30.
What game?
It has been suggested that we do apples to apples, which I don't know how to play, but our host says it's super fun. It's a question game to get to know people, and you laugh, drink beer. We'll get some barbecue. Just drink more beer and it gets better and better.
The wine though, because it's a full mug.
We'll get a full mug. I do have 2 Mug Club mugs up there. You guys can use them, of course, and you can save a buck on your beer. Okay, so the next night, Tuesday, the 16th, our Rotarians in Action group is doing a food collection at Hagen's and a road cleanup at the same time. And what time does your food collection start?
I'll be there at 4:15.
4:15.
Join us at 4:30.
And 4:30.
So 4:30
Perfect.
to 6:30.
Okay, awesome. And I've got that on my calendar. I'll be a food collector. I'm looking forward to that. So that's Tuesday night. Everyone is invited. All the Zoomers are, of course, invited too. Hi, Dory, you've got your camera on. Good morning. Good morning. Okay, December 4 is holiday, is Winterfest down at the park. So we'll have a booth there. So there's going to be a sign-up sheet going out and a summary sheet of all of these events because we've got a lot of stuff going on. Brian's going to be sending that out to everyone, but I'm just giving you a short summary. So the 4th, we've got Holiday Fest of the Park, or Winterfest. December 10th is our holiday party at Meatheads, and we will be doing a dinner there and beer. December 18th, we're partnering with the Chamber with their Lights of Lake Stevens event, and we're going to host a sleigh stop downtown Lake Stevens on Main Street. Basically what it'll be an easy up with our big banner. We'll wear our Rotary gear and we'll hand out something to the cars so they can stop as they go through from one end of town to the other end of town. They all have a digital map to go see the homes in the contest. So we just need to decide what we want to hand out, and then we'll probably collect non-perishable food for the food bank at that sleigh stop also. So that's on the 18th, and then we have our Rotary celebration. I'm really encouraging everyone, if you can, to attend. It's at Semiahmoo in May, 13, 14, 15. It's a foundation dinner Friday night, which is amazing. We sent a group I think I've been 3 or 4 times. It's a really nice evening, and you meet a lot of other Rotarians. There's always a fabulous speaker. And then Saturday is more celebrating. Saturday night is dueling pianos, which will be really fun. And so I'm hoping to put a group. I've got Jim, Chris, me, and I think Don's going to that. Don, are you going to the?
I'm planning on it.
Good. Is there anyone else that's interested? Lori, excellent.
We can carpool together.
We can totally carpool.
What was the date?
And Amy, May 13, 14, 15. If you go to the District 5050 website, there's a link on there that'll take you to the room block at Semiahmoo, and I think rooms are about 150 a night, that's a good rate for Semiahmoo. Semiahmoo is a beautiful resort right on the water. It's north of Bellingham in Blaine. Okay, those are all my announcements for today. I do have one thing, that we do have one member today to congratulate, almost getting there, another week, I think. Maybe next Friday you get sworn in? 22nd. So we do want to congratulate ex-Senator Hobbs.
I'm still senator.
Senator Hobbs for his new position as Washington Secretary of State. And we did get you a gift.
Hold on. Don't forget to plug in. Definitely going to my office. So this is great.
We're in full support of accurate at math.
And I like how you got the color code here. That's your district by district color code.
Yeah, so congratulations. That's amazing news when it came out. Congratulations again. Okay, officer report. So president report, I think that was it. We had a fabulous board meeting last night. A lot of things in the works. A great pizza. We had South Lake Pizza last night and a salad. It was amazing. So if you are in town, they're great supporters of our club and our Interact. They gave us a really good discount every time we stop to get pizza for the Interact kids. So please stop by and pick up some pizza and support them. So past president's report.
Yes, I have one.
Dr. Collins, do you have anything?
Yeah. So I'll stand up here for our Zoom. So I got an email recently from Lloydine Chapman, who's a former school board member here, a longtime community member. And she let me know that also a former school board member and longtime community member, Gary Wolf, is in hospice. And I don't know if you folks know Gary, but he and Karen have raised their kids in Lake Stevens. They went to the high school and graduated and have gone on to do their thing. But Gary and Karen still live here on Cedar Road over by the high school. But Gary's probably got 1 or 2 days left. So I wanted to let you know that he's a proud Kiwanian, and it has been for years, as long as I can remember. And so Lloydine is organizing a car rally to drive by the house to make Gary feel good. And so if you want to join, it's going to be at Sunday at 1 o'clock. They're going to form up someplace just to the north of the high school, and then drive, Cedar Road runs parallel to 113th behind the high school property there. So if you want to do that, Sunday at 1 o'clock, they're gonna have a little parade for Gary. So just thought I'd let you know that. If you guys know Gary, great guy. Not always the most savoir-faire, but always the best of intentions and a big, huge heart for kids. So just thought I'd let you know that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, that's sad news. Okay, so treasurer's report.
Nothing new to report. We've got money. We're looking at how to spend money.
Can you hear Lori? You can, no? Okay, basically she said we're gonna spend it. Secretary's report. This secretary.
Yeah, let's not get into any comparisons. I don't want to do
After the 22nd, we'll have dueling secretaries.
yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Next board meeting is on Thursday, December 9th. Dean France had heart surgery on Wednesday, Tuesday. Supposed to have it on Monday, delayed it till Tuesday. He's having a bit of a rough patch. He's still in the hospital, still having a few sleepless nights, and Debbie is keeping us informed. So I think a lot of you have probably seen some of the emails. The other thing is, and I haven't heard what has happened, but Joyce Bell is back in the hospital. Tracy sent out an email the other day asking if somebody could help pick her up, and either going to be Kirsten Hagen or myself. And then she wrote back and said, no, they're admitting her into the hospital. And I have not heard from Tracy since that time, so I don't have an update. So that's it. But I do have one thing. And this is something we've never done this before that I know of. But on the 22nd, is it going to be historic because a friend, a compatriot, a patriot, and the neighbor is being sworn in as the Secretary of State. So I'd like to make a motion that the 22nd become Rotary Steve Hobbs Day for us as a recognition of support for him in the new job that he is being tasked with doing. And by so doing, he'll probably also sign us up to help him on his reelection campaign.
So we vote on that?
I don't know, do we?
Do we vote on that at a meeting?
Yes.
Okay, so, okay, so do we have an active motion, Gary?
Yes.
Okay, so do we have a second from Mr. Steinruck? Okay, all in favor? All or Zoomers, all, did you? Okay, all opposed? Motion passes. November 22nd will be Steve Hobbs Day. That's awesome. Congratulations, Steve. Okay, moving on. Chris Bello, President-elect. Do you have anything for us?
I did sign up for training, so I guess I'll be trained when I come in, so we got that going on, that's up in
Yeah,
Melbourne.
that's good for you.
Makes me dangerous.
Yeah.
So, you know, we have that, and that's about it.
Perfect. Thank you. Club services.
Well, it looks like the speaker's working and I can see the lights are on and so I think all is well.
It is all as well. How's Mexico?
Lovely. Mid
A
80s.
little bit of a slur. It's 45 in the morning.
What a nice change for a few weeks at least.
It's been monsoon raining for days here.
I noticed. Well,
Monsoon.
that's kind of been normal for the last month, so yeah.
We're not jealous. Okay, community services, Brian's not here. You will, like I said, be getting an email from Brian, so watch for that with a summary of our 50 bazillion activities coming up. Foundation, Jim's still asleep. Tracy, International Services, Tracy's at a conference today. Membership, Ron is not with us today. Vocational Services, Lance is recovering from shoulder surgery. Kristen is at work at the school. Scouts, Chris Vallo once again.
Yes, all is good there, short report.
Love it. Programs, Kendra.
Yeah, it's all looking good. I've gotten some great connections from some people. So.
Perfect. That's awesome. And we have a great speaker today. Great program. IT guy, Chris Martin.
Wallace.
Doing awesome.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, she's trying to figure out why the house speakers didn't work this morning, but. My coffee's hot, yeah. My self-warming mug.
It needs moving.
Yeah, I mean, thanks Don for getting us a speaker, because man, if we didn't have that, I don't know. So, shout out Don.
We're not going to fire you.
Thank you, please.
Yeah, there's no firing in IT. There's no firing in IT. Okay, moving on. So public relations, Eileen is out. Rotarians of Action, Kyle.
Well, really, you actually gave what we were going to do on Tuesday, which is awesome. But basically, we can just get anyone that wants to join. Doesn't matter who. We'd like to get more people want to join us on Tuesdays, the first and third Tuesday of the month. Just because it would be a nice opportunity to still get together, not just on Fridays where we all go to work.
Right. Perfect. Okay, Sergeant of Arms. Kevin O'Brien is out of town, so we have subbing in Dr. Collins.
Yes.
Really quick before you guys start, CoinQuest tickets. If there are any unsold CoinQuest tickets out there, please return them. I know I'm virtual for a while, but Lori has agreed to take them. But those, per the State Gambling Commission, they all need to come back so that they can be recorded and tracked.
Thank you. There, I did see a big stack here this morning that was returned.
Oh, good.
Real coordinate that with you.
Right.
Yeah, we do have the Gambling Commission in our club.
You have to turn the abacus upside down for that.
That's right. All right, since we have the preeminent grand potentate of election security and all things security in the state of Washington here with us, we're going to have Secretary of State, almost to be, soon to be, Secretary of State. All of it. Read the last thing up.
It is 856.
856.
Recount.
No, it isn't. This is gonna happen.
Right here, brother, let me save you some time.
Oh, Stein by the IT guy.
Hustle over and look at my ticket.
He's not your boss at Rotary.
I'm really fired.
This is a safe space. This is a safe
All right.
space, Chris.
Yeah, you pull a duck out, not the $5, pull a duck out, and if the duck has,
X.
well,
Oh, W.
Oh, sorry.
You're learning. It's good. You get $5 for winning the pot today.
We're back for the.
Now he's fired.
Now you get fined.
That was your severance.
Now you get fined for not knowing the process. He's learning, guys.
Yeah, he's doing awesome.
Point of order.
Okay, last week, Kevin put out a challenge, and I answered that challenge. And a lot of you put in extra money as a result. And so I agreed to match all that you did. And so I'm happy to give you a check for $409.
I wasn't here last week, so guess what that means?
You can double yourself.
That means a fine, but what was the challenge?
Well, I was match all of your donations.
Oh, that's nice. All right. You look like you had some money in your hand.
Not long.
Okay, everything, just right now. Okay, so, I do have a couple fines. I'm gonna fine all the Zoomers today, so symbolically, I'm taking the camera there, right there. Because
In US, Don.
no pesos in here. And, it's because your voice is lagging behind your speech. It looks like a Bruce Lee movie out there. Also, I want to find all the people who aren't turning their camera on. Larry Saint, turn your camera on.
He's prickly. He's prickly.
Maybe he does have his camera on.
My camera is on.
Well, you're prickly.
You look like a hunk of cactus, Larry.
I got my arms up because you're trying to rob me.
That's pretty good.
That was a good one, Larry.
I gotta find Mr. O'Reilly.
For what?
Having a big, huge lens overcompensating for something. I gotta find Chris.
Okay. My glasses on the table?
That's right. You got it. Never wear it. Here, I left my glasses on the table too, so on myself right there. And so of all the football teams that are not secondary schools or elementary or middle schools in the state of Washington, post-secondary schools, post-secondary. So whether it be the Seahawks or the Huskies or the Cougars, who has the best record? The Cougars.
The Oregon Ducks.
That's not saying much.
So, okay, that, you got fined again. Venmo boy. Anyway, if you don't have anything Cougars on for the best record, then you got $1. You're fine.
I didn't put on my badge yet. They wear it every day.
Are you a
Cougar?
Yeah.
All right.
Colleges.
Well, I gotta get started.
I'm a Sun Devil.
Suck up.
And you know, whatever EWU is. He thinks it's a bird. Yeah.
EWU? They're
Yeah,
some kind of bird.
Yeah, they're a bird.
I think they're a
Okay.
sparrow. I never pay for coups. I'm a husky.
Well, so am I.
Yeah,
Kinda.
yeah, you swing both ways.
So, I got $20 here. $20. And here's what we're gonna do. And I want everybody on the screen to do this too. So I'm gonna say 1, 2, 3, and we're all gonna say, go Cougs. If we don't do it, then I don't put the $20 in the pot. I know. All right, are we ready? 1, 2, 3. I'll do it anyway. Happy dollars, anyone? Chris is happy it's Friday. Gary?
For all the veterans that have served, thank you.
Awesome. Happy Friday, Amelia.
So after 9 years, my son Evan was a commercial real estate broker. He actually now is a Kirkland firefighter working in the academy.
Awesome. Good walk to the big bucks now.
Yeah. All right. Thank you all. Appreciate that, all the kind words. The other thing is we're, as I lead the Senate and my Senate Transportation Chairmanship, which by the way, it's really amusing watching the Game of Thrones style machinations going on. Who's going to get my chairmanship? Literal stabbing of each other. It's great. But
Anyone in support of the trestle stabbing
so
for that
that's the thing.
position?
Most of the transportation negotiations are almost wrapped up. I'll be negotiating today and next week when I'm done. And so Trussell looks good in there. You gotta make sure it's 1.8 billion. The House Transportation Chair tried to screw me by just saying, oh, it's 800 million. I only get you a quarter of the Trussell. I don't know what that does for you, a quarter of the Trussell.
Zero.
But anyway, put that in there. So they
We'll all fall in the
make
slough.
sure that whoever takes a sense, which I think probably John Lovett, hey, or either don't vote for it unless you get the full funding. I don't know how the maps are going to go because there are all kinds of different maps out there. This thing, but I don't care. It's on the Secretary of State. So I'm going to try to still be at this Lake Stevens Rotary. The way I'm kind of going to work my schedule is a bunch of county auditors are not happy that one of their own got in there right now. So I'll spend like Fridays and Mondays visiting different places. But that means I'm not going to be in Olympia on those 2 days. So hopefully I'm going to be here. If not, I guess there'll be a lot of makeups. Other rotaries.
Well, we have this magical thing right here.
That's true. But I like being here.
Yeah. In person is best.
Thank you very much. And by the way, Ken, I've never known what it felt like to get good with someone. And so it's been a long time since my team sucks like it does now. So the good news is I can always look forward now, just like the Cougs do when they have bad records. Most of the time.
Yeah.
The Apple Cup, where hopefully we just.
I've got this bring back Tyrone Willingham shirt.
Oh, good. All right. Might be good. Great. So hopefully we can disrupt you guys.
If we could. Anybody else with a happy heart?
My happy dollar is that we know Steve Hobbs and all the good things he's done for our Rotary.
I like that. I'm going to do for Steve Hobbs and of course, thank you for your service as well for our country. This is for Lake Stevens because we're going to win tomorrow. And this is for my nephew who plays smart for Arlington High School. They're awesome.
I'm going to split this between Lawrence, who is an absolute gem in the service. And then the other is for everybody that's supporting Effie Bowles to raise $36,000.
Empty Bowls was so fun. Like, it felt like it was my wedding.
Whoa.
Thank you for hosting Empty Bowls. Thank you to all the veterans. We had a great day celebrating my husband and his family yesterday. Really good quality time. I'm so happy to see so many young kids getting vaccinated. It's part of the solution. And it is Girls Weekend. I'm going to Leavenworth at noon today. So, yeah.
All right. I think we got all of you. I got a couple happy bucks. One, the Vikings are playing the Richland Bombers this weekend. I started my career teaching at Richland High School in 1984. So kind of a cool deal for me to have kind of all the ends meet. And then just a buck for my son who's in Chicago this morning on a turnaround flight. He's flew to Chicago last night. Now he's going to fly back to Phoenix tomorrow morning. So a lot of people going from cold weather to warm weather. So that's it.
Look at
How about,
Lori's loaded.
Lori, oh,
I have money. I have money. Okay.
everyone will be out.
So there's my fine, and my sister was here, we had a great time, and my sister went home and I took a nap. And, here's to the veterans, let us never forget, the sacrifice they've made, and just glad to be here.
Awesome. And the Zoomers.
You need to see the bucket. Well, I got, first of all, 10 happy bucks for the veterans for sure. And also 3.5 happy bucks for Alaska Airlines, because that's 1 day for each day, or $1 for each day it took them to get my suitcase to the house.
Hey, my son works for that corporation.
So, yeah, but finally came last night, 3.5 days later. But oh well, that's Mexico.
Yeah.
It's all
All right,
good.
we good?
Anyone? Larry?
Larry's showing
Yeah.
us he doesn't have any money by putting his hands up there.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's already stuck him up.
All right.
So I sent in Happy Bucks money, a check.
Oh, that's right.
So I want a $1 for the Ducks to possibly beat Wazoo tonight.
Is it tonight?
Sure they're playing tonight?
Well, either way, it's gonna be Duck
Oh,
weather.
tomorrow night.
That's another dollar.
Well, there's a time change in Arizona, so maybe it's tonight there.
Could
Yeah.
be. Look, he's throwing up his hands. He doesn't know.
He doesn't know. Larry the prickle.
Sun burned my brain.
Hard.
All good. Okay, moving on to our presentation today. Do we have an introduction?
Yeah, I'll do the introduction.
Oh,
I'm mindful, very graceful. So, we wanted to do a little something about Veterans Day, and we thought it would be fun to interview our eldest veteran, Lauren. So Dad, I'm gonna have you come up here so that people can hear you. I know he's not really anxious to do this. But-
Are you gonna sit by him in like the?
We can do that.
And Lori, after you and I talked, I heard from Jim.
Good.
He said he
Good.
would like to talk.
All right, you want to come up too then? I'm gonna be the interviewer. Uh-huh, come on up. And you can check out, we brought Dad's uniform.
I think Steve should come up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Too, I just.
Okay, good. Then I don't.
Yeah.
All
right.
All right, here we go. I'm gonna get it started off. Yeah, one more chair.
All right.
Any other veterans here that we haven't?
NFL veteran?
No.
Yeah,
sorry.
So Jim was in the Navy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Lauren.
I'm moving to
what branch of
Canada.
service were you in?
What's that?
What branch of service were you in?
Oh, I was in the Coast Guard,
And during what time period?
during World War II.
Okay. And how old were you when you went into the service?
18, right? Okay, and fortunately, before I went into the service, I got a semester of college ahead of time. And that turned out to be a major advancement for me, because I was the only one in our boot camp and several, I think aboard the ship that I later served on, that had any kind of college education. And so that turned out to be a big advantage. I got special attention.
All right, Jim, what service and what time period?
I was in the Army,
Uh-huh.
1974 to 1995.
All right.
I've been active in almost 15 in reserve.
All right. And Steve?
He's still in.
I
Still
know, you're not a
in.
veteran.
You know, I'm just not a veteran. So, Army, obviously, my path is a little weird because I start off in reserves first at age 17. I had to get my mom's permission. She refused. Luckily, my mom and dad had a very, or I guess not luckily, but they had a nasty divorce. So I went to my dad and to get back at my mom, he signed the paperwork. And then she was mad. And then there's another story that I won't talk about that. And then I was active duty for about 10, 11 years. And I'm now in the National Guard. I've had total 32 service now. Private now.
Cool. And where did you serve?
Oh, everywhere. I mean, I started off at just Everett Paintfield, but then I've been to Fort Jackson, Fort Huachuca, Fort Benning, Schofield Barracks, Hawaii, very nice something. Friedberg, Germany, Camp Wolverine and Kuwait, Camp Victory in Iraq, Camp Monteith, Kosovo, some weird place in Macedonia, I don't remember. But yeah,
You've been all over the world. Yeah. All right, Jim, how about you? Where did you serve?
Well, I went to Army ROTC at Eastern Washington University, now State College, and teaching the medical service corps, and then went to San Antonio for my officer basic. And then I did something really squirrely. I went to the Army Airborne and Ranger School at Fort Benning. And as an MLC officer, that was really a bizarre thing to do. So instead of going to North Carolina for my first assignment, they sent me to Hawaii, which is the reason why Dawn said she married me. And so from there, I went back to San Antonio for schooling. And then I went to San Francisco to a place called Bettelman Army Medical Center, which was a 550-bed tertiary medical center. I was one of the assistant administrators. And at that time, I worked at the hospital during the day and went to school at night. The Army sent me to school to get my MBA.
Wow, nice.
Then I got out and spent a lot of different positions in the reserves. And I spent 4 years as Inspector General for all the medical units in Oregon and Washington. Cool. And with the 50th General Hospital out of Seattle was the largest hospital deployed to Saudi Arabia for Desert Storm. When they came back, I took over as their headquarters company commander. And that's where I retired.
So you didn't go to Saudi Arabia?
I did not. I'm a Vietnam and a Desert Storm era veteran.
Okay.
And it's those of us that know that don't deploy for combat. If you're a Vietnam veteran, that means you went to Vietnam, right? If you're a Vietnam era veteran, that means you were on active duty during that time. You were not. Okay. Be really careful when you talk to Vietnam veterans.
Yeah.
Tell me that era veteran, because that's the respect you have to give.
All right, Lauren, and where did you serve?
Well, I started out serving in the radio school of Atlantic City, New Jersey. Because I had some college and because I knew how to type, they sent me to the radio school. And that's where I got my first
The radio school patch?
That's where I got that. Okay? And by the way, this uniform they found at the bottom of Lorna's sea chest.
Yeah. And it's in beautiful shape.
Yeah. Well, that was a pride wearing that during World War II. I went into the Coast Guard in 1943 and served aboard 3 different ships. The one I served the most time on was the USS Amethyst. And in those days, the only communication was done between Ship and Schumer was done through Morse code. And so I was one of several people aboard the ship that could copy and send Morse code. So I can remember I used to like to have the midnight to 4 o'clock watch because the captain of the ship would come into the radio shack and we would play chess on a little chessboard that had pegs on the bottom of the pieces. And so, and then because I served from midnight to 4, I got to sleep in the morning. And that was somewhat of a blessing. But I served aboard that ship until after the war ended. The war ended in August of 45. And one of the things that I remember the most is the ship's, we didn't have a doctor. We had a pharmacist mate for medicals aboard the ship. And he had a bottle of whiskey in his stash. And so when the war ended, he brought out his bottle from the medical supply and offered everybody a drink except me. I couldn't have a drink because I was under 21. And so I've often remembered that. But anyhow, that was one of the exciting things, was to be at sea and aboard a ship when the war ended.
Does anybody else have any questions they want to ask our panel? Steve?
So, gentlemen, if you could tell us your, I'm sure there were many, funniest moments, a humorous moment. And so I will start, so while you guys think about this. So I have many, but this is when I was private ops, and we were doing a training mission, and our radios were running off of a generator. And I was one of the folks responsible to make sure that the generator was, plenty of diesel was going in that generator. And there was a roster because I had it from a certain, like 2 or 3 hours a day. We had to do 24-hour operations. And the sergeant, instead of writing it down, he told us, right? We didn't keep any records. It was fortunate for me because I let the generator run out of diesel. The generator was feeding the headquarters element, and so all the radios, and we were battalion level, so there's like hundreds of people. It was an aviation unit, and so I was responsible for taking down operations for about a good 30 minutes. I was terrified because I heard there was a lot of screaming going on because I was actually in the headquarters and I heard this going on and I was thinking, oh my God, I'm going to be in trouble here. But luckily, nobody knew who did it. Nobody messed up. So, all that career in
You're private, they couldn't.
that was private. Yeah, private. I don't think it'd be career ending, but I definitely would have got in trouble.
Was it the truth?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I did it.
I did it.
I
I
did
just
it.
didn't have to.
Okay, Mary, what about you?
Does anybody here know Morse code besides me?
Other than SOS, no.
Okay. One of the symbols was da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
Okay.
That's CQ. That's CQ, and that's one of the the things that you send as a ham radio operator out to the world out there, so that you can have other people know that you're on the air and can respond to.
So sort of a, hi, I'm here, anybody else out there?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. And as a ham radio operator, I've had the privilege of working halfway around the world. And if you took the globe and you put a string on and start from where we are and run it around, the furthest place in the world from here is South Africa. Okay. And I've had the pleasure of working at a station in South Africa. So, and lots of stations in between. Just about a year ago, since I am 96 years old, I decided to give all of my radio equipment to the local Hams Club. And so they took all of my radio equipment and they took down the tower. I had a 70-foot tower on the end of my house with a 20-millimeter beam on top of it. And that's what I communicated with. But all that is now gone. But it's in good hands because I was able to give it away while I'm still here. When you're 96, you got to realize that you've got a limited time. So anyhow, I served aboard 3 different ships as a radio officer. And the first ship that I served aboard was a converted yacht. This yacht was built by the Fleshman Yeast Company originally. So it was built here in the United States and then towed to Germany back in the 20s, I believe. And that's where the diesel motors were installed. And this turned out to be a little bit of a problem because on one of our trips into the Pacific, we had a hurricane. And the ship took some major rolls because of the high waves. And the engine room hatchway was ripped off. So the salt water got down into the engine room and the motors froze up as a result. And so that was a major problem. And so when we got back into port, why they had to take the motor apart and take because they couldn't pull the motor out of the ship. They had to take it apart and send the parts to Newport, Rhode Island. And there they machined the parts and shipped them back to us. And so that was good in a way because I had a lot of liberty. And I was still drawing CPAY. So anyhow, that was the USS Amethyst. And recently, Laurie found a picture of the Amethyst and gave it to me. So it was a converted yacht. And they had taken all the mahogany and painted it blue. But we were not very well armed either. We had 10 depth charges on the stern of the ship, and there was a 50-millimeter cannon on the bow. And that was our armament besides small arms that we had aboard the ship. And Steve remembers me telling about this before. But one time we were out at Ocean Station in November in the Pacific, which is about halfway between San Francisco and the Hawaiian Islands. And the sonar people picked up a king. They found that there was a submarine circling around below us. And fortunately, the captain never allowed any of those depth charges to be sent out. Because if that submarine had come up to the surface, it would have probably blown us out of the water. Because our armament was very, very mild. But we had a few things happen. After the war ended, we had a B-29 that was ferrying from the Hawaiian Islands to San Francisco. It was flying and it lost 3 of its motors. And so it had to crash land alongside of our ship. And we were fortunate in getting all except one of the people. There was 20 people on board, and we got all of them except one on board alive. And one of the airmen that had parachuted down, he had hit his head on the side of the ship as we got him aboard, and he got knocked out. So the pharmacist mate and I spent a lot of time bringing him back to life. And so as a result of that, he gave me his parachute. And so I was able to take his parachute home with me after I got discharged into Spokane. And I was able to cut off pieces of this parachute, which was made out of nylon. And I was able to give it to the girlfriend that I was.
Did you have enough pieces of it? They were very small. Very small.
Mark was a player.
That's what happened to this airman's parachute. She ended up with a lot of beautiful girls in Spokane.
Larry, do you even know who your brother is?
No one knew that was coming.
Yeah, I want to hear one of those.
So when you think about funny events, when they happened, they weren't too funny, right? Right. But afterwards, I think it's just your memory phase and you sure it's fine. Well, speaking of parachutes, it's when I was at airborne school, and to this day, I'm absolutely deathly afraid of heights. When my son puts up my Christmas list. So I went because I don't know, it's crazy. So I went and so the first, back then in '74, the parachutes they got were very archaic. There was no way to steer them. Now they've got these toggles, and you see them out at, in Spokane or in Snohomish, steering stuff. We had risers that went up in the front and up in the back, and you just had to know if you were drifting this way, which two to pull. So you had 4. And, I confused quite easily, especially jumping out of an airplane at 1,200 feet.
I jumped with those.
Yeah, so the first jump was really good, but I thought, well, I got this case. So the second one, I'm up and we're coming down and I catch a draft and I pull the wrong way. And what they call is a parachute landing fall, PLF. And you're supposed to land and roll and be in control. Well, my second jump, the three things that hit: heels, my butt, and my head. So I'm laying there, and all I can see is this drunk master sergeant, big black guy, and he's looking over at me, and he's going, Sir, they don't really want to call me sir. They just do that because they have to. That was the worst PLF I've ever seen in my life. Sir.
Yeah.
He doesn't care. Gather up your shit and go do another jump. So I was just like, this, probably a professional football player that would put me on, concussion protocol, but not the military. They just, they back on the plane. My third jump was pretty good. So, but that time it wasn't too funny, but afterwards, think about this guy.
In airborne school, because I went to the same school, it hasn't changed at all since you went. Before that, the instructors would tell us, I didn't get it till later, you have a reserve chute that you have in case, things go bad. But it's hard to pull, right?
Thank God we didn't have to do it.
Yeah, thank goodness. And the instructor would say, and he calls just like your own airborne, so they just call you airborne. Airborne, it is hard to pull that reserve chute. Don't worry, you have the rest of your airborne life to pull it. I didn't understand what that meant, but oh yeah, that's what that meant.
How many pieces of your parachute?
I didn't. The other thing they tell you to do with that reserve is if your vane fouls and you have to pull a reserve, you need to keep your feet together. Because if you don't, what happens is the reserve goes down and you're supposed to throw it up like this, it could go down, and then it goes through your legs and flips you upside down, right? And then it's really hard to make a good parachute landing fall on your head.
Yeah.
But they just give you all this stuff, just scares you, what have you.
How do you go from medical school to airborne school?
Medical service corps?
Yeah.
Yeah, medical administration is what I did.
Yeah.
But they just came, it was like 3/4 of the way through our basic training course, these two guys from Benning came, where the jump school is, and they said, we've got these three slots, 3 openings for non-combat arms, infantry, armor, artillery, and whatever. And so there were 9 of us that volunteered to go. And so the way the 3 of us were picked is there was only 3 of us that passed the swim test. I didn't get around, but that wasn't a good alternative. So I made it to the end of the pool. But I just did it. I had a buddy of mine in ROTC, Neil Sealock, who retired as a general, who I just emulated. He was a mentor of mine. He did it very early on. In fact, he didn't go to the summer camp that ROTC students go to. He went to a real life school with them. So I just thought, well, if I'm going to do this, I got to get it now. And if someone said, why did you do that? Because there's no slots, no openings for the one ranger medical service. I said, I did it because it was offered, and I knew I had wanted to do it eventually, and that was the time to do it at 23 years old. And someone said, well, what's the main thing you learned at Ranger School? I said, well, of course, basic leadership. That's where we learn leadership. But also an interesting thing is what people will and won't do for you under pressure. Because they teach you to they try to teach you to be a leader, but they also teach you to be a good follower. Because we all work for somebody. Right? And so, I saw a lot of guys. We started with 240 and graduated 80. And the majority of those flunked out, not because they couldn't physically take it, but mentally and leadership-wise. If you're not a good follower, when someone's in the leadership position, they frag you. In other words, you're gone. So that's why they get down to that evening. It was just a great experience. I'm glad I did it. Now, at the time, I thought, what are you doing?
All right, we're at 8:30. Any other questions?
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Lauren,
Lauren,
got a question back there.
Amelia has a
Amelia has a question.
I have a question for you. When you were in the service, I know you were in World War II. Did you ever come across any of the 442 Regiment team?
442 Regiment team?
That was a long Japanese regiment.
It was a U.S. Japanese?
Yes.
Okay.
So did you have some connection to that?
Yeah, my husband.
Oh, really?
You know, like,
Uh-huh.
this discussion here is happening. I think, in my opinion, we should have more meetings. Because you learn a lot.
I think it's important that we learn each other's stories and especially learn from previous generations that we. I mean, I learned a lot today. I thought I knew your story. Does Mom know about the parachute?
She did a parachute.
Yes, wait a minute.